The college football season and the battle against COVID-19. Let's bring in Republican Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi, home to both, of course, Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Governor.
Thank you for having me on.
So when you announced a statewide mask mandate last week to try to get COVID cases under control, you cited wanting to see college football this fall as a reason, but the Big Ten raised concerns about medical risks for student athletes for postponing their season. So do you believe the SEC should still try to play this fall? And if so, do you feel that they could do it safely?
Yes, I absolutely believe that they can do it safely. Obviously, many of these student athletes have been on our college campuses for the last several months. They've been doing testing. They've gone through more protocols than the vast majority of people in society. And where we have to look at safety really is the number of people that are in the stands. I don't think we can have college football with 100% capacity at State and Ole Miss, 100,000 people in the stands. But we could certainly do it under our current limits of 25% of capacity or something along those lines.
And the Big Ten says it hopes to play in the spring. Is there an economic argument for waiting to play until then? I mean, if fans are able to actually attend games, if we have a successful vaccine by then, possibly games bring in, of course, millions of dollars in economic activity. So why is it better to play this fall with few, if any, fans in the stands?
Well, we know we've got to mitigate risk, but we're never going to eliminate risk from this virus. Even if we were successful at getting a vaccine and we're able to do so very soon, there's still going to be risks to this virus, just like there are risks to the common flu and other risks that exist out there. What we've got to do is we've got to live in society in such a way that we mitigate those risks, we minimize those risks, but we've got to get back to a sense of normalcy. And with respect to college football, one of the most important things is the fact that those student athletes are so important, that football is important to them, and in many instances is the reason that they get the opportunity to attend college. And I'm worried about those student athletes.
And let's turn now to the state of the pandemic in Mississippi. The 7-day average of cases is down in your state, as are hospitalizations from recent highs in July. What needs to happen at this point to keep those cases declining? And does that include extending your statewide mask mandate beyond its current expiration next week?
Well, what needs to happen in Mississippi is that my fellow Mississippians need to continue to stay in the fight. We need to recognize that our enemy is not one another, but our enemy is the virus. And what we've seen in our state over the last 3 or 4 weeks is we've had tremendous participation by people throughout the state. We are wearing masks, we are social distancing, we're staying 6 feet apart, we're reducing the number of social gatherings that we're doing. If we will continue the course, we'll continue to see a significant decline in cases. 2 weeks ago, we had 1,342 cases. Today, we've had less than half of that. Hospitalizations are stabilizing and in many instances declining, and we've just got to keep working hard to give ourselves an opportunity to beat this virus and continue with life in a more normal way.
And as far as the debate in Washington over economic stimulus, what does your state need most right now in order to help with both the economic recovery as well as the fight against the virus?
Well, we obviously need the Democrats in the House to actually show up and negotiate. The fact that they have a $3.4 trillion plan is just not realistic. That would bankrupt our country. The Republicans in the Senate that had offered $1 trillion is a much more realistic number, although even that number concerns those of us that are fiscally conservative. I'll give you an example. The Democrats in the House want $950 billion for state and local governments. If Mississippi were to get our fair share, let's say 1%, which is approximately our total population of the country, that would be $9.5 billion due Mississippi. Our entire general fund budget for 2 years is approximately that amount. That's the kind of numbers that they're talking about, and that's just totally unrealistic.
Now, the president has, of course, proposed executive action extending those expired unemployment benefits at $400 a week. But as you know, he's called for states to chip in $100 a week per recipient as part of that. Your state is already spending $22 million a week on unemployment benefits. So can Mississippi even afford to pick up this extra cost?
Well, we're doing the analysis on that right now. I will tell you, I commend President Trump because at least he took action. While the Democrats will not sit down and negotiate, the president took action, gave us an option. We are trying to determine if it's something that we can afford in our trust fund. We're not going to do anything that puts our taxpayers at risk of higher taxes in the future. But we also have 100,000 Mississippians still that are unemployed and that are depending on those additional benefits. And so we're working hard to find the right answer there. Not ready to make a final decision yet, but we hope to be able to do so soon.
Of course, some big news today with former Vice President Joe Biden selecting his running mate of Senator Kamala Harris. Your reaction to the news?
Former Attorney General, current United States Senator from the state of California. If you are curious as to where Joe Biden wants to take the National Democrat Party, all you got to do is look at Senator Harris's record. Obviously, a liberal from California, and I don't think that's what this country needs, and I certainly don't think that's what this country wants. And so it's an interesting choice, but certainly one that I think shows us where the former vice president wants to take the country.
Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi, we thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.